something along the lines, I don't remember what I said, but then I said, oh my gosh, we're gonna have to cut this out.
And I said, yeah, we should probably just break up for good.
And I said, you don't want to get married or you don't want to marry me or something like that. And you're like, I don't want to marry you.
All right. Well, we're going to pick up where we left off with our how we met story. I think the last thing we talked about was our end of our sophomore year.
So it's the end of sophomore year.
End of sophomore year.
Going into summer.
Yep. We both decided to stay in Grand Rapids for the summer because did you have a job?
I babysat.
Okay. So we're in Grand Rapids for the summer and looking for housing because you didn't want to stay at your parents' house and I had to find somewhere to live. And we decided to both live in the same house.
It was a duplex, so like I was with my friends on one side and he was with his friends on the other side. But it was just for the summer.
For the summer. Laura and 3 of her friends are on one side of the duplex. Me and 3 other guys are on the other side of the duplex. It was not the best decision.
Probably not.
But we just lived too close, spent too much time together. We weren't that interested in each other yet.
I was very interested and you were not reciprocating.
Yeah, I think I just wasn't sure that I wanted to be dating Laura, but then since we were living together, I felt like I shouldn't break up with her, and it became really awkward for the 3 months.
Yeah, it was not a fun summer for me.
Sorry, we get distracted by watching our baby monitor. So I moved back into the dorms, and then I got super busy with being an RA and managing a floor full of guys, and it was pretty fun, but didn't really leave a lot of room for Laura that year. Pause.
Yeah, so then Nathan kind of made a bunch of new friends, like with the other RAs and people on his floor, and was always busy. And because you weren't like sure that you wanted to be with me, you just didn't prioritize time with me.
Right.
We were at one of the college events in like October or November or something. We were having a worship night, and like in my head I knew that Nathan and I like weren't working and that we needed to break up, but I was too scared to break up because like, oh my gosh, like it's junior year, like how am I gonna, I don't want to break up with him because how am I gonna find someone to marry? It's like looking back, like it feels stupid, but like in the moment they're very like realistic fears, I think. And so then I just kept on like putting it off and like I'm like, no, it'll be fine, like I'll just try harder and it'll work out. It did not work out. And I kind of like in my head I was like, oh, Nathan is like this perfect person, so it must be something I'm doing wrong.
No.
And like because Nathan's like a super confident person and like he has his way of doing things and he thinks they're the best way because for him they are the best way. But that doesn't mean it's going to be the best way for me, and so I like just kept trying harder and harder to do things his way and to be like him. And
it doesn't really work.
Yeah, no.
So the problem was I knew from like summer that I wanted to break up with Laura, but there were so many excuses not to that it just didn't happen until February. So like we were living in the same house, so I couldn't, and then we were like doing a bunch of activities together, and we'd like sign up for, I don't know, going to an event in 2 months. But I'd be like, well, I need to wait till this event happens, or else like we're just gonna have tickets to go together and not, like it's gonna be awkward. And then we took an interim class together in January, so then I had to wait till that was over. And then finally there was like a gap in time where I said, okay, it can happen now. Which was, also a stupid idea. It should have just happened when it needed to, like 6 months earlier, but.
Because there's always going to be something.
Right. But after one of our college group events, I took Laura home, and we were talking, and just talking about our relationship. And Laura said something needs to change. Maybe we need to take some time and figure stuff out. And I said, yeah, we should probably just break up for good.
Like, wait, what? That's not what I thought you were going to say. Yep.
So she was a little caught off guard, but also agreed.
I mean, I agreed. Like, I thought we needed to, like, take a break. I didn't want to break up for good. Like, in my head, I'm like, this is still the person that I want to marry.
Mm-hmm. But I wasn't sure.
Right. And, I asked him that. I was like, so you don't... I don't remember what... It was something along the lines... I don't remember what I said, but then I said... Oh my gosh, we're going to have to cut this out. And I said, you don't want to get married or you don't want to marry me? Or something like that. And you're like, I don't want to marry you.
Ooh.
And I was like, oh. I'm pretty sure I, like, made you leave.
Probably.
I was like, I can't talk about this right now. Like, you have to leave. It was on a Wednesday.
Yeah.
Thursday, you felt good about your decision.
Oh, yeah.
And then Friday, you...
Felt bad about my decision.
Yeah. And I felt bad the whole time.
Thursday, I was like, yeah, this is good. I feel great. And then Friday, I was like, ooh, this might have been bad. Maybe we should talk about this.
So then we talked Friday night, and, like, Nathan was super upset.
I was like, I don't know, should we do this? And Laura's like, we're not stopping now.
I was like, you already did it. I was like, I'm not getting back together with you right now. Like, you broke my trust. I don't trust you right now.
Yeah.
I was like, we're not getting back together. I was like, maybe we will eventually, but not right now. It was horrible.
So we stayed broken up for 2 months. We talked about once a week, probably.
Never very in depth.
No, just kind of like checked in, I guess. But it was a good time, for both of us to grow in.
For sure.
I think if we didn't break up, we definitely would not be married now.
Right. I kind of came to the realization, like, that, yeah, like, I was holding Nathan up on a pedestal, and he didn't need to be up there.
Mm-hmm.
Like, he can be his own person, and I can be my own person, and I don't have to, like, do things differently just to please him. Like, I can do things my own way, and if he doesn't like it, then that's fine.
Right. And I just kind of learned that I can make decisions.
Yeah, and, like, when you're...
Yeah.
Go ahead.
That the person that you should marry, or that you can kind of choose who you want to be with, and as long as you're willing to make that decision, that it can work out.
Yeah. Like you've said to me before, I don't think there's... Like, I think there's plenty of other people out there that you could marry and be happy with.
Mm-hmm.
It's not... We don't really believe in soulmates,
right.
I suppose. And yeah, it's more just a choice, because if you marry someone solely based on how you feel about them, like, you're not going to have a successful marriage, because feelings change, and you're not going to feel the same way about the person that on the day you marry them than you do 10 years down the road.
We both had that feeling that I wanted Laura to be like me so that we could relate to each other for things, and because I was just kind of selfish like that. And Laura wanted to be like me because she thought it would make me happy. But in the time being broken up, I realized that I actually appreciated how Laura was different from me, and that wasn't necessarily a quality that I needed in my wife or girlfriend, whatever, that I could just have different friends that I could relate to in different ways. Laura didn't have to fulfill all of the things. So once we figured that stuff out, we got back together, after being broken up for 2 months, and things were 100% different. It was like night and day.
It was like Nathan was like a totally different person.
Yeah. It was like things that used to just be boring or mundane, or like we would feel bad about, we were just having fun with now.
Yeah.
Life was just fun.
Yeah. And I like felt like I could just be myself, like I didn't have to try so hard anymore
Yeah.
to be what he needed. And I didn't get bothered by the things that like I'm sure there were still things that annoyed you, or I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know what I'm trying to say, but yeah, like if he didn't like something that I like before, I would be annoyed if I like wore something that he didn't like. If I wore something and he said he didn't like it, I'd be really annoyed by that. And then once we got back together, then I was like, no, I don't care if you don't like it because I like it.
Yeah.
Like I didn't try to please you as much anymore.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. And then yeah, so that was in like April, so it was like a month of school left.
Yeah.
And then
Month of school, so that was the end of junior year. Then that summer we stayed in Grand Rapids again, but I lived in a separate house. Laura lived in the same house, so she'd been living in the duplex.
mm-hmm.
And it was a great summer. I was working for a new company called Williams & Works, which is where I still work. So I started as an intern there that summer. I was driving to Kalamazoo an hour and a half each way every day, working on a bridge. It was pretty fun.
Mm-hmm.
But we had a great time being together.
Yeah, we did. It's a fun summer.
Yeah. Much better than the previous one. It went pretty fast though, and then senior year started at Calvin. And
I was student teaching.
Laura was student teaching, so done with classes for the most part. I think you had one class that you had to
I had
take,
one night class once
Yeah.
a week.
but mostly just being a teacher. And I was in my senior design project phase in the engineering program, and I had taken enough classes that I was on like 11 or 12 credits all of senior year, so it was really smooth end to college. Working part-time at Williams & Works during the year.
And then end of October, we got engaged.
Yeah. And I think we'll pick up next time with the engagement story through to our wedding.
Mm-hmm. And it's perfect timing because Lyndon's away.
Nice.
Alrighty.
Time to get back to work.
Time to feed Lyndon.